Laplacian in two-dimensional case. Yeah, so if you look at the lectures by Gilbert Strank, he always uses this matrix as an example. Well, because he's one of the fathers of the finite element methods. So at least, well, if you have, this matrix actually has a lot of structure. First is, okay, it's three diagonal, right? Only three diagonal. It's sparse because only has three n elements, where n is the size of the matrix. It also has the same elements of the diagonal, so it's jobless. So it has many different structures. It's nice. Every method works on this matrix. If you go to more complicated, for example, most of the method fails, but on this example everything works. But still, if you want to solve a linear system with this matrix, the question is how you use this special structure. So we'll discuss how we solve linear systems with dense matrices. This one class, but then how we solve linear system with tridiagonal. We probably heard about this. So in English, this is called sweeping method. In Russian, it's parabolka. So at least with tridiagonal, everyone knows how to do that, but it only works for very specific class of tridiagonal matrices. So the moral is that if you have a sparse matrix, you have to develop specialized methods for solving linear systems. Multiplying such matrix by vector is an easy task. It's only O of n. Storage of such matrix is an easy task, O of n. But solving linear system with such matrices, even if it's not tridiagonal, it's now much more complicated task. But before, we at least need to discuss how to solve dense linear systems. And these are the main questions that we are going to discuss. So what's the accuracy we get by using a numerical algorithm? And of course, if we use different algorithms, we get different accuracies. And we have the best possible accuracy that we can get. This will be controlled by the condition number of the matrix. But depending on how you do the computation of the solution, and of course this Gaussian elimination and LU decomposition, this is the main this is basically the same. LU decomposition and Gaussian elimination is the same. So Gaussian elimination computes LU decomposition. And the final question that we are going to discuss briefly is, in this part of the lecture, is what's the complexity of the solution of the system with respect to the matrix size. Okay. So first message is that you have to forget about the determinants. And if you did not yet do that, forget about the determinant for solving linear systems, because the complexity of using the determinants for solving linear systems is exponential in matrix size. Unless you do it in a stupid way, you compute the determinants using factorization, but why you should do that? For 2 by 2 it's still good, right? If you have a 2 by 2 matrix, it's okay to use determinants, otherwise not so good. So Kramer rule is nice, but sorry, only. And let's get from 2 by 2 to 3 by 3 case. So what we do, we just eliminate variables, right? So and that's the main tool. So we have an equation. In this equation, you can eliminate y using x. From this equation, you can eliminate z using x. And you put this together, and you get one equation for unknowns. Okay, that's basically what you need to know about solving dense linear systems. Well, not all, but the main thing. And this is called Gaussian elimination. So the process is called Gaussian elimination, and well, due to the fact that linear systems are everywhere, it's one of the most widely used algorithms. So, but the main question is how to formally write this process. The process of Gaussian elimination, in fact, has 2 steps, forward step and backward step. So if you look again at this example, where do you think is the forward step and where is the backward step? Why it is 2 steps? I think we have solved the problem, right? Okay, we do this. Backward how? You find x and then you go backward, right? So in the forward step, you try to eliminate one variable from equation. Yeah, and then you get one equation for one unknown, and then you go up. Yeah, so this is forward and backward. So suppose we are lucky, and the element of the matrix in position 1, 1 is non-zero. If the element at position 1, 1 is non-zero, then we can eliminate x1 from this equation. Right? We can eliminate x1 from this equation. And then we can take this x1 and put in all the other equations. We put it in all the other equations, and you are left with a linear system for all equations, but for all unknowns except x1. x1 has been eliminated, so you have n-1 equation for n-1 unknowns. Then you basically eliminate x2 and so on. So this number that we select, so basically what we do, we select an equation and we select a variable, right? And we eliminate the selected variable from the selected equation. And there is an element on the intersection of the row and column. This is called, I always forget how this is, pivot, right? Or pivot. Let's be pivot, I don't know. So that's what we divide over. So we have to be sure that the problem would be if this element would be zero, right? Then we cannot do that. Okay, for example, in this equation we have zero coefficient with respect to z, so we cannot eliminate z from this equation. But suppose we have a very small coefficient in front of z, say 10 to minus 5. So what will happen in this case? If the number, the pivot that we are using is small, what will happen? What do you think? Well, not overflow, but it may be not 10 to minus 3, 10 to minus 5, but it may lead to accumulation of errors. So the solution that you will get will be maybe not very accurate. So it's not actually that we have to select pivots that are not equal to 0, but we have to select the elements that are as large as possible in the absolute value. Okay, so for example, can anyone propose a simple solution to select a pivot? Maximum where? In the row. In the column. Why? Why not in the row? Maybe in the whole matrix. Well, of course, we permute the rows. Okay, row column. That's one of the reasons. Let's discuss it further afterwards when we'll go back, because these are different so-called pivoting schemes. These are different pivoting schemes. So one pivoting scheme is then you select you take the row, you take the maximum absolute value in the row, and then you divide. You see? And what you are guaranteed here is that when you divide this element by this element, even if all the row is small, so suppose all elements in the row are like 10 to minus 5 and something like that. But since you have taken the maximum absolute value, then the ratio of this guy divided by this guy is always less or equal than 1. So here all the coefficients, this formula will have coefficients less or equal than 1. So the worst case would be if the whole row is 0. But then that means the matrix is not a full rank if the whole row is 0. So at least you see, at least at one step, you have numerical stability. But however, this error can accumulate. So in the worst case, the error may grow by a factor of 2 to the power n, where n is the size of the matrix. So the worst case is quite harsh, but it's very rare that this case is encountered. So yeah, there is an interplay. So basically, everyone uses row pivoting. Everyone knows that there is this, but there are pathological matrices for which this scheme will give you exponential growth of the error factor. But since they're pathological, no one cares. But again, at some point, these matrices may arise. But yeah. So what we have the first equation which expresses x1 in terms of all the others, or maybe not x1 but x with some number, and then the second which expresses the remaining variables and so on. So we have the system, and in the end we have one equation for one unknown, which is very easy to solve. And knowing this, we can go up and compute all the other variables. Okay, so it's easy, not so difficult too. So if you do not do any pivoting, so what this algorithm does, it computes one of the most important matrix decomposition, which is called LU decomposition. So almost all matrix decomposition are representation of a matrix as a product of matrices of simple structure. So we have already seen SVD, which is unitary, diagonal, unitary. We have already CQR, which is orthogonal, unitary times upper triangular. So Gaussian elimination without pivoting, if you see. Excludes the first variable from the first equation and so on, computes the decomposition of the matrix as a product of a lower triangle, which typically denoted by A, times upper triangle matrix. So what is upper triangle, lower triangle? Lower triangle is the elements strictly above the diagonal are 0, elements strictly below the diagonal are 0. And so if you have, okay, and then we will discuss in a second how we can use it for solving. This is more or less obvious. But of course, this factorization is non-unique because between these two matrices you can put any diagonal matrix and the inverse of the diagonal. So typically, the standard convention is that the diagonal elements of L are equal to 1. So, again, we have not yet introduced the inverse, but why? We will use some of these properties that I typically know. So, if you want to solve a linear system, this is equivalent to multiplying the inverse of the matrix times the right-hand side. And this matrix is equal to the product. And we assume that both of these matrices are invertible, then the inverse of the product is equal to the product of the inverses in the reverse order. You can just check. If you multiply this guy by this, you get 1. If you multiply LU times U minus 1, L minus 1, U times U minus 1 equals 1, L minus 1 equals 1. So this is the product of inverse of this matrix times F, inverse of this matrix times F. The product of the inverse is equivalent to what? Is equivalent to what? So to the solution of a lower triangular linear system, which is a forward step and a backward step, which is a solution of an upper triangular system. Solving lower triangular system is very easy because for the lower triangular case, the first equation is the equation for one unknown, which you solve, and then you put it into the second equation and so on. And now two questions. First question, why we need to do factorization first and then use this to solve linear system? What's the benefit? No, for each new right-hand side, you have to solve triangular linear system. Yeah, absolutely. So if you have a factorization, then solving triangle is n square, and this is n square. So suppose you have the case when you have the same matrix, and you need to solve many linear system with many right-hand sides. Right? Then you need just to solve two triangular linear systems. Another way is to compute the inverse and then do that. But computing the inverse can be much less stable than solving this linear system with lower and upper triangular matrices, right? So we can use we do decomposition once, and then we can reuse this decomposition for fast solution of linear system with new right-hand sides. Okay? What I didn't tell you is how this process is connected to the LU factorization, but actually if you see the coefficients of these matrices that appear, they do not depend on the right-hand side. So what we are actually computing, we are computing the coefficients of A and U. So the final linear system that we have, the final linear system, has already upper triangular form. The last equation has one unknown, the second equation has two unknowns, so this is upper triangle. And the coefficients of L are computed from this. So this would be the column of L and so on. So you do Gaussian elimination, but you do it for the matrix. You do not do anything with the right-hand side, and then for the right-hand side you just solve a linear system with a lower triangular matrix and upper triangular matrix. And lower triangular matrix and upper triangular matrix, they are examples of structured matrices. Well, they have the square parameters, but we can solve linear systems with such matrices in n-squared operation. The elimination step, the Gaussian elimination step constant cube, if you use naive algorithm. If you use naive algorithm and just eliminate one variable at a time, so at each step you have to do